if people want to grow their real estate business or any other business that they might be in, maybe they like you, but they're not convinced that you should be their business coach.
Yeah.
What should they look for as red flags in other business coaches and say, no, that sounds way too good to be true, and if it does, it's always true? If it sounds too good to be true, it always is. That's my experience.
You're right. A lot of people sell a lot of bullshit on the internet, and you give them that money, you don't get what you want out of the deal.
The deliverables.
The guru thing.
Exactly.
You know, I do a small coaching thing, and looking back on it, it's not worth my time, although I'll do about $300,000 in coaching sales this year. It's completely the lowest dollar per hour thing that I'm doing right now. But I enjoy helping people get to the next level. And most of the guys that I've interviewed for my program, they're a couple steps behind me. I've just solved the shit they need to solve. I've just grown through what they do. And it's literally the easiest thing for me to get that information and help them get there. So I enjoy doing that because it's a solve. It's a chess game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think if looking for the right kind of business coach, there's a lot of bullshit, man. I think that's the most important part is sorting through the BS and then finding someone that's your style of human.
Did you ever dial in on a business coach, or has this all been on-the-job training, learn-as-you-go type stuff, or have you identified a mentor and gone that route, or is it more maybe partnering up with people with a little more experience?
That's what
or
happened to me.
different experience, like your
It
CPA
was just guys that were
partner.
more successful than me. The CPA guy, I've learned so much from him. I did not value risk. I was always looking at the top end. He helped me figure out how to understand risk, and it is a huge part in the way we manage everything today. So I've learned a ton from that guy. He's a big-time poker player, and the rules of business and the rules in poker are actually very similar for investing. I've had several guys early on that I worked with that were really mentor roles, although one of them was a lender to me. One of them partnered with me on some deals. Man, there was something I was just thinking that really made sense. Another thing is finding other really bright, successful guys that were further along than me and becoming friends with them. There's 3 guys that I can think of off the top of my head that I was just so impressed with. I thought, how do I make these fucking dudes my friends? And I remember, like, he wanted to go work out, go play pickleball. I'll go do that. I'll do that. I'll do whatever they wanted to do so I could be around him and built relationships with him. But it's so cool to have these hour-long conversations after a pickleball game, and we're talking about his business, and I realized I just don't think big enough. This is a year and a half ago. I don't think big enough. And I was like, how do I fix that? And he said, you know, you have a plan or a goal for this quarter or whatever. Although it's very loose, he's like, just make it twice as big. I'm like, you're fucking nuts. He's like, no, I'm not. You just set a goal here. You're going to staff it this much. Why don't you staff it twice as much? And instead of capitalizing it this much, capitalize it twice as much.
So that's very 10X, right?
Dude, it is.
Just think bigger.
And I did what he said, and it actually worked.